right, good evening, brothers. Tonight we're going to be doing Unit 5, Unit 5 discussion for week 6, for Unit 6. It is the topic 5. I'm going to go down to question 2, and I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to start with number 7, which is the general and administrative expense budget. So for that, if you read the information given to us here, to prepare a master budget for April, May, and June, management gathers the following information. Okay, down here, let me make sure my sound is working. Okay, it's working. I probably sound far away though. Let me fix that. Make sure I can be heard. So for the general and administrative expense budget, you're going to take $500,000 and multiply that by the 0.9% given to us up here, and you get $4,500 a month. So as far as administrative salaries for April, you're going to have 12,000, and for the no interest for April, is going to be 4,500 across the board because we multiplied that $500,000 by that 0.9, and it gives you that 4,500 a month for April, May, and June, which is a fixed number. So at the end of the quarter, that totals to 13,500. But for the total general administrative expense, you will have 49,500 for the quarter. Because for April, the total was 16,500. For May, it was also 16,500, and for June, it's going to be that 16,500 as well because of the administrative salaries being 12,000 and the no interest being 4,500. When you combine those numbers, you get that 16,500 for each month, and the total quarter it equating to 49,500 for the quarter for the general administrative expense for number 7 on the required. So number 8 is the schedule of cash receipts. Okay, so 30% of sales are for cash. As you can see up here, I can't remember which one it is that says it in here, but 30% of sales are cash. Sales are for cash. 70% are credit, collected the following month, beginning March 31st. So that would equal to 344,400, and that equals the 70% of March's sales. So because we have that number, we know that for April, for collection of prior credit sales, we can put 344,400 for April because that we got that number from March because of the 70% of March's sales. So the cash sales, 30% for April is 147,600,000. Okay, for the month of April for the Zigbee manufacturing. So that number is 30% of the sales for cash. And the 30% of sales for cash for May is 140,400, and for June it is 144,000. For the month of June, and all for the quarter equals 432,000 for the cash sales of 30%. Um, and the collection of prior credit. So we know that for the previous month of March, it was that 344,400, and because of that, you're going to keep that number for May because that is the total for April. So you're going to keep that number for May, but with June it changes um, based on May's credit. So for June, the collection of prior credit sales is 327,600. Okay, and that totals to 1,016,400. Um, and so the total cash receipts is 492,000 for April. For May, it's 448,800,000, and for June, it's 471,600,000, which gives us a total for the quarter of 1,448,400 for the total schedule for the total cash receipts. Okay. Um, and we use the information given to us from this table, right? And where is it on the table? No, it's not this table. It's this one. 30% of the thing. So you get the information from H. So the company budget of 30% of sales to be for cash, and the remaining 70% of credit sales are collected in the full month following the sales. Okay, no credit sales are collected in the month of sale. So that's why the collection of credit for prior sales changed for June, totaling 327,600 because of May's credit of 140,400. Okay, that was number 8. Um, so the schedule of cash payments. Um, the schedule of cash payments. So the payment for the prior month of purchases for April is 201,000. Okay, and for May it's 198,000, and for June it's 201,500, and for the entire quarter is 600,500. All right. Um, all purchases on credit paid in full the following month, beginning AMP March 31st is 201. So that's how you get that payment for prior month for April, because March's was 201. So May purchases are 182, and even though no, it ends up being 198, right? Okay. And we get those numbers. I'm gonna start giving the equations now. Okay. Start giving the equations now so that we learn and understand how we got these numbers. Okay. So, as I mentioned previously, the general and administrative expense budget ended up being 49,500. So the way we got that is got that is we took the 4,500 from the interest on a long term note from April, and we just multiplied that 0.9 by that 500,000, and it gave us that 4,500 at a fixed cost. And when you take 4,500 and you add it to 1,200 from the administrative salaries, which is given to us and this information here. So for G, it says monthly general and administrative expenses include 12,000 for administrative salaries and 0.9 monthly interest on a long-term note payable. So when you add that 12,000 to that 4,500, you get from multiplying 0.9 to the 500,000, you get 16,500, and that is the total general and administrative expense. And you just do that across the board, and you get 16,500 for April, May, and June, and the total ends up being 49,500. And that was a recap of number 7. That's how I got those numbers for number 7, is adding those numbers. And for number 8, the total ended up being 1,448,400. The reason I got that number, I'm looking at my notes here, is at 1,448,400. You get that from, where is it? Excuse me. I don't see it. Let me see it. Yeah, but you get that number from just taking the sales credit from each month and just adding it to that 344,400, at least from April and May, and that 327,600 from June. And you take the totals from each month and you add them together to get that. And for number 9, the scheduled cash payments for direct materials, which is you get that 201, right, from the previous month, which would be March, and you just apply it to April, and you get the answer for the quarter would be 600,500. But the way you get that is from taking that 201,000 and just adding it to 100,098 and adding it into that 201,500, because those are all the payments for the prior month of purchases, and that totals that 600,500 for the quarter for the schedule of cash payments for number 9.